So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to store and feed your sourdough starter so it stays good for you. I just pulled mine out of the refrigerator and decided that I would do this for you guys um, in case you didn't know. So I store my sourdough starter in a mason jar and a lid. I store it in the refrigerator for 7 to 10 days if I'm not going to use it, and then I will get it out and feed it. I do plan to use it and it needs fed. So I have it poured into just a glass jar. You can use glass, you can use plastic, whichever you prefer. Metal is not good. They say not to use metal utensils, though I have, it hasn't hurt it, but they say not to. So you can use a food scale or you can use measuring cups. I have a food scale, so I am just going to use that. So it says to use the equivalent water flour mixture is what you have in starter. So I have 347 grams. So that is roughly about 170, 175 grams of water I'll need and 175 grams of flour I'll need to mix into this. So I am going to start with the water. I like to mix my water in first and then add my flour in. I do prefer warmer water versus cold when I'm doing this, especially if I'm going to use it. I want to activate this. So 175 grams of water is about a cup, which would make sense if you're doing equal parts. And like I said, you can just measure it out, eyeball it out. Once you've done it a while, you're going to eyeball it out. You're going to see this is very, very, very liquidy at this point, okay? And that's fine, because you're going to add the flour in that's going to thicken it up. Now, I don't get super precise with this, don't worry about that either, but I'm going to take a 1 cup measuring cup, and I'm going to sprinkle that in. So 1 cup is about 150 grams. Usually you need a little more flour than water to equal the same amount. So I'm just going to add a little bit more in. So about 1.25 cups is roughly 175. So I'm just going to stir this up. I don't need my scale anymore. And this is going to, once it's all incorporated, it's going to be like really thick pancake batter. So that's kind of what you're going for. When it is in the refrigerator for a few days, or if it needs fed, it's going to be really thin and runny. Not quite as runny as it is after I put the water in, but still pretty liquefied. And that's okay. As long as it smells fine, you're good. So you're going to want to mix this really, really well. And if you are storing this on your counter, you are going to have to feed this 1 or 2 times a day, which means you are either throwing out discard, or you are going to have a huge amount of starter because you're doubling it each time you feed it, which is why I store mine in my refrigerator when I'm not going to use it. So let me show you this. See, it's hard for me to do from this angle. You see it's nice and thick, okay? Perfect. So most of my recipes require a cup of fed active starter to do it. So whether I'm doing 2 loaves of slicing bread or I'm doing a, the round, artisan type sourdough that everybody thinks of, usually it's about a cup of starter. So what I will end up doing with this now is I will pour most of it back in my jar. I'll leave about a cup of this here, and then I'll let it sit on my counter for the next 8 to 24 hours, and you will see it get bubbly and it'll grow, which is what you want. So you're going to just cover it with a tea towel or a paper towel so nothing gets in it, but it needs to absorb the air to keep growing. This is basically this is natural yeast. It's fermented flour and water is what you're making here. So I'm going to put most of this back in my jar so I have starter for the next time. So right now it doesn't look like it's grown terribly much, but so I have just shy of 2 cups in here right now, and I am gonna guess measurement on the side of this. Just shy of 2 cups in here. I will not use all of this starter for myself. I have a couple people, including you, that might want this. So I am going to feed this, let them both grow before I hand them over to anybody. So basically, in a nutshell, when you are leaving it on the counter, it needs fed once or twice a day. It's just like a pet or a kid or yourself. If it's in the refrigerator, it goes dormant, so you can let it in there 7 to 10 days and not have to worry about it. But you definitely do need to feed it before you use it. That's what they say, a well-fed, active starter in a recipe. That's what it means. That means you have fed it 5, 8, 12, 24 hours ahead of time. If it has gone liquidy again after you fed it, it needs refed. So that's kind of my pointers with that. If you have questions, let me know.